Hello again and welcome to another edition of Shed Talk. I really can't believe that it's February already. Good heavens, where did January go? Well, in this Shed Talk we're going to have a look at the first two chicks of this breeding season from the Budgerigars. Just have a quick look and a bit of comparison. I think you'll see that they're, although they're from the same nest, two very different looking birds, and we might have a quick discussion about what that might mean in terms of my shed. We'll also do a quick run round and show my decision about where I was going to put the hens and where I was going to put the nappy flight. You might remember in the last video that I had some discussion around whether the new cage that I bought was going to put the hens in there, back out so with where the cock birds were, and move the young birds into what was the half flight where the hens were. So yeah, it came to a decision on that, and we'll have a quick look at that. And as always, we'll have a run round the current breeding situation for the Budgerigars. Have a look in all the nest boxes and see if my upbeat thoughts from the last video carried over into February. So that's what we've got for this video. As always, if you do enjoy these videos, don't forget you can subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button, and if you want early notifications, then do hit the bell. And as always, do comment. I do read the comments and try to answer as many of those as I can. And thanks for all the feedback so far, both in terms of on the actual videos and also on Facebook. Much appreciated. So without any further ado, let's have a look at those two chicks. Here's baby number 2, much better bird than 01. I do like the width across the shoulder on this bird. Stands reasonably well up on the perch, and got lots of feather around the top of the head. Could do it a little bit more over the top of the beak, but if you have a look, it looks like it's going to have a nice wide mask on him. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this one. Probably the first keeper out of the this year's youngsters, depending on how well the others do. Looking very scruffy at the moment. Unfortunately, this grey wouldn't sit still in the show cage, so let's have a quick look at it in the flight. You can probably see it's not a very promising bird, and a little bit disappointed compared with its sibling, the grey-green that we saw earlier. It looks like it's about to go drop off the perch now and go and get something to eat, but who knows. And that tells us something about the gene pool in my shed, or particularly the gene pool between the two birds that were paired up to produce these two. What I'll try and do is see if I can get a shot of them both in the same picture. So as I said, the grey-green has a really nice width across the shoulder, and looks like it's going to have a lovely width across the mask. It is lacking a little bit across the head, and I think I've already said that. But otherwise, I think this bird's going to be quite useful for me. And then when we consider the normal grey and how poor this bird looks like it's going to turn out in terms of exhibition quality. I mean, it's not a terrible bird in terms of a Budgerigar, but it's, in terms of exhibition, it's not great. And that really means that my gene pool is just too broad, because what you're aiming at is for siblings in particular to look very similar, and these two quite clearly don't, which means that I've got the gene, as I say, the gene pool is just too broad, and I'm trying to narrow it down. So I've still got a lot of work to do in the shed in order to get the bird, pull the good genes into the birds and remove the bad genes. I mean, you're always going to get a difference between siblings, and you're always going to get good and bad birds in the shed. But from my point of view, the difference between these two birds is just so great that I'm a little bit disappointed, actually, if truth be known. But there we go. Let's see what the rest of the breeding season brings, and if we keep breeding with the features that I want to keep, hopefully over the next few years, couple of years, 3 years, we'll bring that down a little bit better, and we'll have fewer of these big differences. Well, as you can probably tell, I have moved the young birds into this half light and moved all of the hens into the new cage that we saw in the last video. I'll show you the hens in that in a short while, but somebody suggested that would be the better move, and I sort of agree. The more I thought about it, the more I agree. There are 2 old cock birds in here, and they're birds that are, I mean, they're very old. Never want to sell them because, you know, they're just too old to be put in the sales cage, so they're going to live the rest of their life out in my shed, eating my seed. But they just weren't coping in the main cockbird flight. They were being harassed by the other cocks, and it wasn't fair on them to leave them in there. The other thing is, if you put an old cockbird in the nursery cage, it will help the new birds, the young birds, in terms of understanding some of the rights and wrongs in terms of the overall flock, but also in terms of feeding. They'll also, to some extent, show them the ropes, I suppose, in terms of coping in a larger flight rather than just in a breeding cage. So that's why it's useful to have an older cockbird in there. That's not to put, or I found not so good, is the older hens. They tend to be slightly more aggressive towards the youngsters. So, but certainly an old cockbird like that one we can see there is fine. It helps settle the young birds down. So before we go out and have a look at the hen flight, let's do a quick nest box check. So here's cage 1, which is still my pair 1, 3 eggs. I think I've still got to mark one of these eggs. Let me just double check. There's 3 eggs. You may remember that this pair so far has failed to produce any full eggs, so we're a bit more hopeful this time round. Cage 1, pair 1, 3 eggs. So here's cage 2, which is my pair 8. First egg. We were going to split this pair up, but just as I was about to, she really cleared the nest box out almost completely, and has now started laying. So touch wood here, that we might just get some full eggs off of this pair. So there we go. So here are all the chicks from cage 3, which is my pair 7. You might remember that I moved one of the eggs into here from one of the other cages, pair 6 I think that was, and just because the hen didn't seem to be feeding it, unfortunately that one hatched but also died. So I'm not sure whether it was the hen or whether it was just the fact that the chicks are struggling to get out of the eggs in terms of that particular pair. We'll have to wait and see. The pair's gone down again, so I'm hoping we'll get a few more full eggs from that. I think we can see the ages. All of these chicks have now been rung. And as always, just need to keep an eye on the rings to make sure that they are still clean and also free moving. Again, I saw some stuff on Facebook saying that the rings might be a bit smaller. Not sure about that, don't really know. I haven't got a ring gauge to check. I need to come back in. But at the moment they're all working fine for me. This is the smallest one, youngest one. All of them are doing well. Haven't had a chance to think about colours just yet in these, but I will change the bedding in this nest box, put some cleaner stuff in, particularly now they're all rung. So that will be my plan. As always, I put a little bit of millet spray in the nest box, so I need to replace that little 1/2 inch. I'm not sure whether the hen's eating that or whether the chicks are pecking at it, but the intention is to hopefully try and get the chicks to start shelling the seed while they're still in the nest box, as I think I said earlier. So that's cage 3 and pair 7. All looking good. I think I've got some normals in there which will be quite handy given that most of the other ones, I think that looks like a normal, looking at the down, the dark grey down, and also the grey on the feet. And the eldest one I think is definitely going to be cinnamon. It looks like all the others might be cinnamon. Maybe not. Maybe that one's going to be a normal as well. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Still a bit try and have a look at the eyes. The eyes look a little plum coloured, so I think that is going to be a cinnamon, but we'll have a look. Anyway, there we go. That's all of the chicks from box 3. So this is pair. Okay, so cage 4, and this is pair 4. This one did lay 7 eggs. One of the eggs got damaged. I'm not quite sure how. And currently virtually all of these eggs are clear, which is unfortunate because in the first round you'll remember that we had 4 full eggs and 2 chicks hatch out. So I'm just going to have a quick look and see whether the last couple of eggs here are full or not. Well, it certainly doesn't look as if any of those eggs are going to be full, so not so lucky with round 2. What I will probably do is let this one sit and gradually start removing the eggs as and when, and then let them go for a 3rd round and see if we get anything off that. So this is cage 5, which is my pair 9. This is the really nice dominant pied cock that we've got, and it's currently filling the eggs without any problem whatsoever. So we're really good here. So laid 7 eggs, and certainly the first 5 are full. I'm just going to check the last 2 and see whether they are full or not. So bear with me. I think you can see that, but that one there is definitely full. And this one here might just be a little bit too early to tell. So we'll wait and see with that one. But either way, 6 full eggs off that dominant pied. Can't complain. The first one of these eggs is actually due to hatch in the next few days, so it's due to hatch on the 6th of February, and today is the 4th. So there you go. Really hopeful there. So here we go with cage 6, pair 6. You'll remember that the last round this pair had, there were 3 full eggs out of the 6, and all 3 of those hatched that were not fed or just died almost straight after hatching. So I'm hoping this time round we'll be a bit more lucky. Not ready to check these eggs yet. They're still a bit too early. The oldest one is only about 2 or 3 days old, so I'll wait, give those another few days. I normally like to give them 8 days before I check them. So pair 6. Here are the hens in the hen site now. They've all settled in. Cage is working reasonably well. Not a fan of the door hatches, I must say. However, other than that, it's working alright. So there we go, all the hens moved. Well, once again, that's just about all we've got time for in this video. I'm trying to compete with the birds. They're really scattering away at the moment, so I hope this comes out reasonably well. So that is all we've got time for in this video. As I always say, if you enjoy the videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and do comment, just general comments, or if you've got any questions, please do ask. But until the next video, please do all stay safe and enjoy your birds.